This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Mirage years, 1993 through 1995, Deluxe Edition, written and illustrated by Jim Lawson and published by IDW. What's going on, Omnibuddies? Mitch here, and today we are back with another overview. What are we looking at? Well, if you watched the last video, we are actually back looking at more TMNT. We are looking, yes, at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the Mirage years, 1993 through 1995. This comes to us from a couple different artists, but mainly written by Lawson. And yeah, I gotta say, like, I have not actually read the Mirage years comics before, so this was my first dive into this era, and I gotta say it was pretty fun, and I was pretty shocked by the kind of almost like strangeness, kind of off the wall wackiness of the story. I really did enjoy it. I had a ton of fun with it. And I was kind of shocked that IDW came out with this deluxe edition. I was not expecting that, but it was a great surprise nonetheless. All right, I'm gonna stop talking about it up here. Let's lay it down on the table, talk about it a little more there. All right, so here we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Mirage years. This is 1993 through 1995. Here is the spine shot for you. This is published by IDW, and yeah, it's pretty awesome, and it retails for $59.99 USD. This is, again, a deluxe edition, so it fits beautifully right next to your other IDW deluxe editions with TMNT. Doesn't have the exact same matching spine, but it is pretty, it does sit nicely with the other ones. Stands out a little bit with its differences, but doesn't stick out like a sore thumb or anything like that. So let's crack this open. Has a little bit of kind of modeled art end paper here, which I appreciate when they do something different with end paper, not just straight up just color. Here we go. Let's get through this. So this does collect issues 1 through 13 of the Mirage run, and the story and most of the pencils are all by Jim Lawson. There's also some inks by Miner and Talbot, and definitely a lot of other colorists and letterers to go with. And what's cool is Laird and Eastman do a lot of the cover art too, which is super cool. And you got a nice introduction by Jim Lawson here, and nice and lengthy introduction actually, which is cool. And then we just jump right into it with this nice page spread. So I took some photos of this, so if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can do that, and I do post a bunch of photos of lots of different books. I don't review all the books I read and do overviews of them, but I try to hit up the ones that I really enjoyed and had a lot of fun with. But if you're interested in all those other books that I read or get, you can definitely visit my Instagram, and I post them on Blue Sky and Facebook and all that too. But all that to say, this book, I cracked it open, did a quick spine relaxing, and then I read it once, and here I am. So when it sits like this, that's after flipping through it. This is, I guess, the third time. You can kind of see some of the sewn string in there, but nothing too crazy. It does have a nice sewn spine in here, but yeah, we jump right into it with nothing else really besides that introduction in the beginning, and it's just memories of the future, and goes right into it. One thing that kind of took me is that how quick of a read this book is. As you can see, just in these first few, goes. There's not a lot of dialogue. There's some on that page, but then it's just not a lot. So it does go by pretty quickly. So fair warning on this book, it goes by quickly. But it is, if you love TMNT, this is an essential read. The art style definitely kind of harkens back to a bit of that original look with the original run, but this is obviously in color, whereas the original run was all black and white. But, you know, here we are. They all have the red bandanas and all that, but here we go. Very, very cool read. The art kind of overall I enjoyed. There's a couple points where I was like, oh, that's a very, very early 90s look to it. But it was still super fun. And yeah, so, I mean, that's the first issue there. It goes by so quickly. And so this entire series, I'm just going to flip through it. I'm not going to talk about it too much for the storyline and the plot or anything like that. I just want to give you a good look at it and a good feel for what you're getting in here. But it does definitely, the entire 13 issue run is all one single story. There's kind of a part A and B to it where B kind of deals with the fallout of the first half of the series. I guess so it would be the first arc. But yeah, there's a ton of great characters in here, great callback. But it mostly deals with Baxter Stockman and some stuff that he gets, does. And there's, other characters in here that aren't in it super long, but definitely has some cool cameos and things like that. Definitely very cool. Also got to say, really bright green sewn in book ribbon. Love that. Love the green, But yeah, definitely matches the TMNT look. And I'm not sure you really need a bookmark or a ribbon in this one because it's such a quick read. I read it in about an hour sitting on the couch last night, was it? So yeah, and I had not read this story before. So this is the first time through this one. So it was super fun to read some new TMNT that I had no idea what was going to happen. Very cool. They, kind of open up the world a little bit and introduce some people I hadn't really met before, and really fun, and definitely picks up at the end of the original TMNT run. I think it's 61 issues is the first run, and this picks up right after that. So if you don't know that run, there might be a little bit of spoilers in here, but you don't need to have read it to really understand the story. You pick up through context as you're reading it. Oh man, when there's some parts in here with Casey Jones that are just absolutely hilarious. And like so good. I loved it so much. They really leaned into some of the like hokey, like early 80s or mid 80s and early 90s like action hero stuff. It was so funny. I really enjoyed it, loved it. But yeah, some really cool things in here, and I kind of want to, I want to see what happens next now in this, and because I haven't read anywhere past this series. I'm not too familiar with TMNT from this era through any of the other stuff, and I kind of really picked up back with the IDW's run. So that's just kind of finished out and is now again picking up with Jason Aaron's run. But yeah, super cool, very fun book. One caveat with this book, that's the end. There are absolutely no extras in this book, which was a little disappointing to see. I would have loved to have seen some, even a few pages of like, maybe if they have alternative covers. I don't know if they had any of those, but even some of the art progression would have been super cool, or maybe some, letters or, people who wrote in or something like that, or maybe some comments and interviews or something. But there is nothing like that in this book other than the introduction at the very beginning. That is really literally the only extra, as it were, in this book. I'll give you a quick shot of the spine here now that it's open. But yeah, you get a decent little eye hole. It's not too crazy, but it definitely does lay flat this entire time. And there's no real gutter loss in here because the art doesn't necessarily, usually at least, go through through the spine or anything like that, so you don't get really any gutter loss in here. I'm trying to find if there's any big double page spreads. I don't remember them doing too many giant page spreads through here. Yeah, most of it's just all broken up. But yeah, I didn't notice any crazy gutter loss or anything like that going on. So yeah, but it definitely reads quickly, reads well, very fun story, and really fun, interesting early 90s art going on. Let me put that bookmark ribbon back in here so I don't forget about it. Close that up. Nice back to the book. And I love that spine. There's no spot gloss or anything. It's all matte finish and a really nice chunky 13 issues of the Mirage years. All right, so again, that's the quick overview of the Mirage years, 93 through, what was it, 95? Yeah, so that's a good 2-year run of Mirage. And I gotta say, like I said before, it was a little off the wall, wacky, bit of a story, which it was super cool because it was all kind of one story. It was kind of part 1 and part 2, because the first half kind of goes through some stuff, and then the second half is like the fallout of all of that. But it's all one self-contained story. Now, it does pick up basically directly after the original run. I point back there because, oh, they're over there, actually. What? Right there. The Ultimate Collections, if you haven't picked up those, or they have the complete compendiums, there's 3 volumes there, you can grab those. But it does pick up directly after that run and deals initially, at least for the first few issues, I believe, with the fallout of that run. So if you haven't read it, don't be too alarmed, but I mean, they kind of bring you along in the story and you learn about what happened. Not too much in depth, but there is a little bit of spoiler in there if you haven't read it, but it's not nothing like crazy or earth-shattering, but they are dealing with the fallout of what happened at the end of that story, and then it just jumps right into this. So it was super fun. I did enjoy it. It was like it was such a short read though. That was my only kind of my big hang up with it is it's 13 issues, and it took me, I believe, just almost an hour exactly to read this. I sat on the couch and I read it in one sitting, which I was shocked by. I thought I was going to be reading this over the course of like 2, 3, 4 nights. And I just tore through it because, I mean, there's a ton of pages in there that have little to no actual dialogue. It's just art, and it's like big splash page art, or like, 3, 4, 5 panels, and that's it. So you can kind of take in that art pretty quickly. But overall, other than it being a quick read, it was, like I said, great construction of the book, great fun story. The art was just super off the wall, kind of wacky at some points. It was very fun though. There was a couple panels where I did laugh pretty hard at some of the faces and stuff. But overall, I had a ton of fun with it. It was really good, and it really did fit into that kind of that. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of that awkward teenage, pardon the pun, with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but that kind of teenage years between the books where it's kind of that awkward trying to find yourself again, maybe. Finding that this very dark, harsh initial run of the original series, and then kind of going into a lighter era maybe. And this was kind of like this awkward transition point, maybe, is kind of how I feel about it. But it was definitely a lot of fun. It's definitely worth reading and picking up if you are a Ninja Turtles fan. My only big issue is with volume 18 of IDW's run coming out soon, and now that book, I can't, I'm like one book slot short of being able to fit all my Ultimate Collections and Batman TMNT and Last Ronin, and then all 18 volumes along with that Mirage year in there. I'm one slot too narrow on my bookshelf. So I don't know, maybe I'll move Batman TMNT up to the Batman shelf over there or something. I don't know. That's sad though. Or maybe I'll just have to set it on top, or who knows. Anyways, that's for me to figure out. and that's a pretty unfair thing for me to nitpick about, because it is just a shelf problem. It's nothing with the book. Love the book. It's very fun. If you are interested in grabbing this book or any other TMNT book, definitely hit up Organic Price Books. You can use code Omnibuddy for $2 off every order if you're ordering 4 or more books. So maybe if you want to pick up a bunch of TMNT, you can use Omnibuddy Ship It Together or any of the other creator codes out there. But you can use that code and get 5% off your entire order of 4 or more books. So definitely a great place to shop. I love OPB. They're super responsive. They pack well. They ship well. They communicate really well. And they have, especially with those rewards points that you collect and the creator discount codes that you can use, they are ultra competitive with all the other big places out there, but they are super responsive and great to work with. But yeah, that's it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notification, do all of those things, but the most important thing to do is comment. Let me know in the comments what your favorite villain from TMNT is. Is it like Rat King? Is it Krang? Shredder? Bebop and Rocksteady? Man, I have a really hard time picking out a villain. I think, especially from like IDW era, I really liked Slash or Leatherhead's stories in that series. They had some really good stuff in there. I really love those two. Kind of villain, not villain, kind of in between. They had a lot of, I guess they're a villain, but they had a lot of heart to them and a lot of reason behind their villainy. But yeah, definitely like them. Let me know in the comments who your favorite Ninja Turtles villain is and why. So I am interested in hearing about that. All right, that's it. Take care. Stay cool.